Hello, hello, friends, and happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here on In the Loop, and I'm here with Greg Nibbler. As you know, Greg has some really interesting, fun stuff to share with us today. Greg, it's never a Friday until I get to see you, so thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Winnie, and thanks to everybody too for joining us. Yeah, it's always so much fun here being for the Loop and doing the Loop on Fridays. A great way to kind of wrap up the week and go into the weekend. And for anybody who doesn't know, I'm Greg Nibbler, a longtime tech reporter, news reporter, covering all kinds of different things. But here on this show, we get to talk about some tech side of things. I've got some news for you. There's one piece of information that I think is really important that you're going to find out today that we've got in the segment. And some of it's just kind of talking pieces. And that's part of what the show is too. We're live. We can take your comments. I see some comments. Maybe we're coming through there. But so yeah, we appreciate all of you joining in. Let us know as we go throughout the show. Give us your feedback. This is interactive because we're here with you. And that's part of the fun here being with the Loop. And of course, being here with Winnie, which is what, we're all excited about.
Thanks. Great. And congratulations on your show, your news show. I know it's been keeping you really busy, so we're grateful that you can still join. And for those who are brand new to the show, I am Winnie's son, Greg's co-host and CNBC council member, Forbes contributor, and also host of Level Up. If you haven't had a chance, definitely check us out as well. Yes, as Greg mentioned, we are live here. So, Greg, how about I start with the finance and then you can anchor us with the fun.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, we'll take it. Well, here's what's going on in the markets. Okay, Dow currently is up 19 points. The Nasdaq is down down 166 points. We don't like that on a Friday, right? And the S&P 500 is down 25 as well right now, but the market has a few hours to go before it closes, so hopefully it'll come back a bit. So some of the news, Greg, that we're seeing is, of course, on the side of the Federal Reserve, continue discussions on the big hot topic of inflation. You know, the Federal Reserve is hoping that we get to a 2% inflation rate. It almost sounds like a dream come true. I don't know if it's a unicorn expression. What I've been hearing lately is that inflation isn't going to come back to that healthy level for years. I know many of you are hoping like months, but it looks like it's going to be years. In fact, progress in terms of controlling rents across the United States, as well as medical care services, which are whopping expensive. Actually, they're saying that it might require a full-blown recession, which of course none of us want, in order to get these prices to more reasonable levels. And the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI, was discussed this week and shows, unfortunately, uneven progress with what we just talked about: shelter, rent, services, rising costs. They continue to rise significantly. And in order to cool down to that 2% inflation rate, there's a lot more work that needs to take place in the central bank. And sadly, it could come at a cost of, recession, mild recession, however you want to call it. But basically, something negative has to happen for us to have something positive. That's sort of a net of that. All right. I want to segue though over to another story, Greg. I don't know if you saw this, but I thought this was kind of fascinating. We know that tax season kind of came and went in April, and those of you who are affected by a natural emergency like here in California, we have until October 16th to get our taxes done for 2022. I know from last year. But here's what I thought was fascinating. The IRS is reporting that Americans owe about $688 billion in unpaid taxes for their returns that were due last year. This is up from $601 billion a year before. I'm just shocked that people owe this much in back taxes. They can actually sleep at night. I guess maybe they can't, but they're stressed out, but they just can't make those payments to the IRS, Greg. Are you surprised by this number?
I mean, I think not with everything you were just talking about with inflation and just the state of the economy for a lot of people. It probably, you know, the financial aspect of that, of whether you're paying, you know, your bills or whatever else has gone up, you know, exponentially, gas, food, all of that, or pay your tax bill. Sometimes I think some people have to make the choice, and it's probably easier to pay your bills than it is to pay the tax side of it. So I'm guessing that that's part of that, of why that is, that
Yeah.
some of that money hasn't been paid.
Right. Something, I mean, and it's kind of shocking to me because I always thought if you didn't pay your taxes, like really dire things would happen. I'm sure interest is probably accruing and even more serious things. They're saying about 85% of Americans do, stay compliant. They do pay their taxes. I know you and I are included in that 85%, but it could be your neighbor. There's a lot of people who
Right.
are surprisingly not able to even pay their taxes, talking about living paycheck to paycheck, but literally like the whole paycheck because you can't even make your tax payments. Now, I know some people, when you get paid, and myself included, when you get your paycheck, you have a portion taken out for taxes. So that's probably the best solution to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. But they're saying income sources with little or no documentations, partnerships, LLCs, account for a significant portion of this tax gap. And actually, I want to bring up one story that I thought was super interesting that kind of carries on this topic of not paying your taxes. And if you thought it was just like maybe like someone down the street or someone in certain areas that didn't pay their taxes, you'd actually be surprisingly wrong. Because speaking of owing taxes, did you know that Microsoft is facing a $28.9 billion tax bill plus penalties plus interest from the IRS because of an extensive audit that they're doing? Now, this audit started in 2007 and it's going to be,
Whoa.
yeah, they own a lot. And since the largest in IRS history, and it focuses, Greg, on Microsoft's profit distribution from different countries from 2004 to 2013. And they're saying that this thing called transfer pricing, yeah,
A 16-year audit,
yeah.
2007, I think. Is that what you said? Man.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, Microsoft seems to have plenty of cash if they're required to pay the taxes. They've got about $111 billion in cash and equivalents, and but they're just saying that this is not right. But I mean, yeah, this is a lot of money. So I mean, who knows if this is going to take place? It says it's going to take more than a year to like continue to flush this out, but yeah, it's not
Wow.
just regular people that need to pay taxes. Even people, companies such as Microsoft with plenty of assets need to. So, you wonder, the U.S. continues to deal with this issue of deficit and like not having enough money to spend. And I don't know. I mean, crazy times right now, Greg. I mean, you've seen
It
the
is.
news. It's scary
Yeah.
times too. Yeah,
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the next story I want to share with you, Greg, I think this is something that you and I definitely need to talk about. And I got a fun story. I'll save this for later if we have time. But this story I think is really interesting. I think it's being helpful for anybody who's watching. I see a lot of friends joining us on all the different platforms today. Let's talk about holiday travel. First off, Greg, I want to ask you: are you planning to go anywhere during the holidays?
I think I'm probably going to go after the holidays. So I'm doing some like light traveling, but I don't think I'm going to like fly or do any big trips. No, nothing planned right now through the
Nothing planned.
holidays. But then just afterward, because the prices drop quite a bit, and you know, it's a little bit easier to get some time off. So that's probably when I'll be doing my traveling.
Okay, so that sounds like really, really smart. And I'm not surprised because Greg always makes really smart decisions, right? But like with this is actually really smart because they were saying that I've been doing some research on this topic of like airfare prices for Thanksgiving and around the holidays, around Christmas and Hanukkah, the prices of airfare. All right. Now they did come down slightly, and you probably saw even some really crazy deals to get to Hawaii because of the Maui fires, and that really reduced the price to go to the islands. But here's the thing: your window of booking travel for Thanksgiving and those Christmas flights and whatnot, those holiday flights, that window's about to close. So what you want to know is you really want to, the suggestion is to book your flights by October 14th. And today is the 13th. So like book your
Yikes.
flight if you're going to leave for the holidays by tomorrow, because they're saying right now round trip airfare for Thanksgiving currently averages about $270 round trip. And Christmas flights they're saying are going to be about $400, but that is going to increase soon because there was a survey that came out by the Hopper app, which is a big travel app that kind of monitors flights for people, consumers, and whatnot. And they're saying that 85% of Hopper app users who are planning to book holiday travel haven't even done so as of early October. And so this big trend of last minute bookings is really going to translate to more expensive prices. Now, they're saying they're anticipating daily price increase of $30 for Thanksgiving. So daily pricing. I'm not talking about in
Oh,
total.
daily.
Yeah, so
Yikes.
the more you wait, the more expensive. So starting like you kind of want to book your flight today or tomorrow. Otherwise, it's going to creep up $30 a day for Thanksgiving flights and $40 a day for Christmas flights. So consider doing that if you're going to be flying. And the other thing is Greg and I have talked about on this show is consider reducing your holiday travel stress. Make sure to book those direct flights. My other tip is try to book the earlier flights of the day in case there's issues. You can jump on a future flight and just stay really positive and, optimistic and most importantly, flexible with your holiday travel. But
Yeah.
you will lose money if you procrastinate. So in this case, please don't procrastinate.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Like the direct flight is so much, even if it's just like a little bit more money, so much more worth it.
Yeah, and Greg and I are going to bring a friend of ours onto the show very soon to help kind of talk about some best strategies for holiday travel. So be on the lookout for that, and then we'll make sure to get you all ready if you are doing some holiday traveling or like Greg traveling right after the holidays. I'll probably be like Greg too. I'll probably be doing some something close by, and then something later on that won't break the bank.
Yep. I think that's kind of my target. I'm going to be doing some driving traveling, but
Road
yeah.
trip.
Yeah. Road trip, driving traveling. That's what I call it. No, road trip for the holidays, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. I think I'm staying fairly close, but January, I think I'm going to head out.
Okay. Well, Greg, what do you got to share with us today? I'm
All
looking
right. Well,
forward
it's a lot of kind of random stuff here for this week, but the first one I want to bring up has to do with Google and of course AI, because you can't really talk about anything without AI anymore. So we all knew, and well, maybe you didn't all know, but Bing incorporated ChatGPT and AI into their search engine. Not a lot of people use Bing. I understand that, but they were one of the first ones to do it. We're all familiar with all of those different kinds of generators. You can type in, make me a picture of whatever, and AI will create that. Well, now you're going to be able to do that with Google search. So this is a pretty big step for them. There's a couple of things here. In order to use it, you have to opt into their Google Lab, which is an easy thing to do. It's free to do, but you have to opt into that. Once you do, though, you're going to be able to type in search terms just in the search bar. Say, hey, Google, create an image of a capybara cooking, and then boom, there you go. You're going to be able to use it to help you finish sentences, to write things, to do all kinds of stuff. And this is all going to be just incorporated right there into the chat, right there into the search. So kind of a big step there. And really, we're all kind of used to this now, or we've all probably tried it out a little bit, but now just putting it front and center right there on the biggest search engine in the world, it's just going to be a much more part of our lives, a bigger part of our lives. So,
This
and
is
also,
so
yeah, you can use
cool.
it to help search for other things too. Yeah, it's really becoming mainstream, is what it is.
Okay, so Greg, teach simple minds like me how to do this. So where do I go to get this set up? Google
So,
Lab.
so to set it up, when you open up Chrome, you have to be in Chrome.
Okay.
There's, when you open up a new tab, there's the little plus button up on the right hand side.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, um, there is, you'll notice over by your name, over by your little image, there's
Mhm.
a like a beaker,
Okay.
and that is the lab button, and it says search labs. When you go there, it'll give you the option to opt into things.
Wow.
And what you want to opt into are generative AI in search and SGE while browsing. And those are the ones that you opt into. And then you'll be able to start to use this and play around with it. I mean, this just came out yesterday, so I'm just been playing around with it as well. So there's still a lot for me to learn on that, but that's how you can start messing around with this and playing around with it.
I
And
love this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I want to see, what some of the other use cases are, because the image part, the AI images, there's still a lot that needs to be figured out with that as far as what you can really use for what purpose. Where copyrights come from and where is it getting the information to generate some of these images. There's some potential lawsuits out there right now. So I'm saying if you're using it for a commercial purpose, I'd be a little wary of that. I'd be a little wary of that right now until some of the legal issues get sorted out. But if you're using it for fun, for something for yourself, go for it. I mean, I think there's probably a lot in there, a lot of fun that you could have with that.
I'm so grateful that Greg that you're sharing this with us, because I do think that we all know, we can see it very clearly that AI is here to stay, and it's just going to get more developed and more things are going to be added. But one of the things we need to do is get on the bandwagon and test and play and learn this technology, and not be fearful over it. So as it evolves, we can evolve as well. And so I love that Greg brings us this right at the cutting moment, right? So if you follow this show and you follow Greg, he's going to keep you posted, so you'll be able to go on this journey on AI together.
Yep, that's very true. I mean, because it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, might as well learn it, and you can have some fun with it too, and at least understand it as it goes through. Because this is going to be a growing process. It's going to be evolving. It's going to be changing, but might as well get in on the ground floor here, or at least just above the ground floor, and try some of this stuff out. So you can opt into that on Google Chrome and test a lot of that out. I've got another thing here. This is talking about phone service, but also incorporating Starlink. So Starlink, which I actually know personally a lot more people who have Starlink now for their internet service. That is the satellite-based service from SpaceX. Now they are planning to launch phone service. So this is going to be coming in 2024. It's going to be a little bit of a slower rollout. It's not going to be happening right away, but in 2024, it's anticipated that SpaceX is going to be incorporating in SMS texting via your phone that would work through through Starlink, which would be a big step, because, as you know, if you have Starlink, pretty much anywhere you go, you would have coverage. And this is going to bring up here a point that I wanted to ask everybody too. So there it is, starting in 2024 text, 2025 voice and data, and then internet in 2025, which means no matter where you are, essentially, they don't have complete global coverage yet, but say all of North America, or I think it's pretty much most of North America by now. But say that's it. No matter where you go, you would have phone service, which is pretty huge. If you think about, and I always bring it up because of the fact that, I like going out into the woods. I like going camping, hiking. It's a lot of what we do up here in the Northwest. And you don't have phone service really when you get out there. When you're up in the mountains, it's real spotty at best. So this would change that to where you have service everywhere. And I think for emergency purposes, this is great. This is a great thing to have, because every year there are a lot of people who get lost or stranded or have an accident and are unable to get a hold of anybody. But this would make that, without like a really expensive satellite phone, this would change that to where you'd be able to get a hold of somebody. So that side is good. The other side, though, I kind of like going out into the woods and not having phone service, but I don't know if I could. I don't know if I would have the self-control just to turn it off if I knew that I could have access to it. That's my own personal struggle.
Well, Greg, maybe like, you just leave your cell phone in the car or something. Because where I mean, one another use I think would be amazing for this, because I'm with you. Like some places when you're in the boonies and you can't get signal, it's kind of stressful, because we've gotten used to be able to contact people in case of emergencies. And I have two questions for you, Greg. Number one, how is this going to differ from like Apple's SOS. And then second thing I want to just throw in there, I love this because one thing is when you go on cruises, you get hit with these super high expensive internet bills. But if you're on a cruise and you can have internet on your phone, paboo, that would be worth it completely. All right. So how does this differ from SOS?
Well, how does it differ? I'm not exactly sure on how much this would differ. I mean, as far as that just explicit emergency thing, this
Yeah,
would be like full phone service,
yeah,
so
it's be better.
full everything. So I think it said by 2026, or maybe later in 2025, full IoT, so full internet connectivity, full voice, data, all of it. So it's just complete phone service,
But
no
is
matter
this
where
a
you
like
are.
Cybertruck timeline or is this a realistic
Yeah,
timeline?
I feel like this will happen before the Cybertruck. Any day now, that Cybertruck's going to be rolling out.
Any day now.
Yeah, any day, any
I mean,
decade.
it's been only what a few years.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I've stopped keeping track. What was it supposed to come out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I
See,
gave up.
it's so funny because I remember when I first put my down payment on for that Cybertruck, right? My husband was like, "Why would you do that?" Well, it's like, "Why would we even?" I'm like, "I don't know." I mean, I just feel like, what if like my oldest, right now he's 14. He's like, he's too little. He's not gonna be able to drive. I'm like, but looks like it'd be really safe at this point. Like by the time my son can drive, this truck might be available, and by that time, it might look like a antique. By then, I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah. One of those things just lost to history. Like, remember when the Cybertruck was going to come out?
It was supposed to be reasonably priced too. So at
Yeah,
this point with inflation, that thing's probably, I don't know. If they still deliver on that first price, it could be something, right?
yeah, yeah. At that point, if they
Remember it was supposed to be priced at what? 25, 30,000. It was not crazy expensive. That's what
no,
they're
and yeah, I
promising.
think now it's way up on
Yeah.
eventually on what if they do come out with this thing. Like it's I don't know. They keep releasing those random videos of it too. Like, oh, there's a Cybertruck, and I think there was one in Mexico where he drove it down there. Somebody was driving one around. It's like, okay, cool. You did a little marketing stunt and put one out there. And then they had that whole thing where they were fighting with the Ford F-150 too, like pulling things. I don't know. At this point, I don't know if we need any more videos. It's either just make it or just be like, it didn't work out.
Exactly. The video costs more than the car. This I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah.
I mean, but then I feel like from Elon Musk's standpoint, if he doesn't do, he'll be like the biggest joke. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
no
And
comment
so
there.
maybe eventually this will come out. Um,
Yeah,
I did
cross your
like your
fingers.
idea though on the phone service side of
Mhm.
on a cruise, yeah, or something like that, because where you get charged a ton. It's
It's
also going to
so
be coming to some
expensive.
airplanes as well.
Oh, see, that
So
would be great, right?
yeah, and I don't remember which company it is that's going to be incorporating in, but maybe it was Delta, maybe United, but somebody who's going to start incorporating in some Starlink service. This isn't
Yeah.
another thing. It's not going to be rolling out right away because the planes have to be fit for it, but that's something that could be coming too, which would be nice, you know?
Yeah, so what's gonna happen, Greg, is I mean, your point was well made. I mean, like at some point we're gonna be connected everywhere, and then like you're gonna pay to be not connected.
I know. Turn my phone
Be a
service off.
theme. Come to our hotel, you will not be connected. Instead of
Yeah.
premium.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I'll have to learn how to turn it off, but it's a good thing overall. Speaking of traveling though, going to your travel side and phone side, I did want to bring this up. This is a pretty quick thing here, but this is a warning from the FBI. And they've issued a warning about using charging ports at the airport. So some airports have, and I'm not talking about just plugging in your regular, adapter. I'm talking about taking your cable, plugging it directly into some of those ports that they have there, the USB ports. You're not supposed to do that at the airport right now. And that is because they're warning that some of these have been compromised, these public phone charging stations, that it's really easy for people to get in there and because you have to remember that your cable is also a data port as well. So you can send information and take information off of that. So they're recommending that nobody use those. So just a heads up in case you're somebody who does use those, the FBI is saying don't use those. Don't do that. So just wanted to give a warning on that one. I prefer, like, when I travel, one of the travel things that I always do is I have a battery pack. So that way, just one of those little portable, rechargeable battery packs can charge your phone up to like 4 times, usually the ones that I have. So that way you always have enough power if you're on the plane, and maybe it's one of the planes where you don't have somewhere to plug in or it's not working right, which happens. This way you could always have power with you and you can walk around. You don't have to sit in one spot. So that would be my recommendation. But the FBI recommends don't plug into those charging ports.
Yeah.
So
You're right. And those batteries are like a lot less expensive nowadays. And it
yeah.
comes back to that whole planning, getting ready, so it works.
Yep. They come in real handy too. It's, sometimes you never know, like when we're talking about traveling, like you could get delays, you could have to be running around, moving around. Eventually your phone is going to run down and maybe you can't find anywhere to sit down and plug in. So this is just a nice, easier way to always have some power there.
100%. Awesome,
yep.
Craig.
Okay, I've got one more thing here. And this is talking about traveling. It's kind of a slow week in tech. So I went looking for some things that I just thought were kind of weird and interesting. And this is one of those. This is from Honda. It's called the Moto Compacto. And it is a new vehicle that is going to be out that you'll be able to purchase at certain Honda dealerships in November. This is a spin off of I guess they had a scooter in the 80s that wasn't sold in America called the Moto Campo. And this is the Moto Compacto. And as you can see, it kind of looks like a briefcase. It's designed to be for, commuting, short commutes to work or to wherever. Very compact, very small. And this is something that you can just, pack it all up, bring it in. And the thing weighs, it says over 40 pounds. So it's not super light, but that's also not super heavy. It gets 12 miles of range. So it's not going to go very far, but if you're just doing a quick commute to work, that's what they're looking at for this thing. Yeah, folds all up, super compact, so you can bring it into the office or bring it into wherever you're going and just stick it in the corner or have it there, go to the park as they're demonstrating. And they think that this is, that looks so funny. I'm sorry, just looking at this and imagining somebody writing.
Oh my gosh, I love this, Greg, though. I totally want to get this for my son for school.
Yeah, that would be a perfect thing. Yeah, to just tool down to school on it. And
is this available now?
It's going to be, they said it's going to be available in November at certain dealerships. So it'll be Honda. I believe there was Honda and Acura dealerships. Yeah, if they're participating in the program, they'll have it. So you might want to call your local Honda dealership or Acura dealership, see if they're going to be stocking this or not. It's not terrible on the price either.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how much is this?
$995. So it's not cheap, but that's not horrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible, but why do they sell through a dealership? Why can't you just buy it on Amazon?
Yeah,
I don't want to deal with a dealership.
Right. Yeah, I think it's kind of their gimmick to get you to go into the Honda dealership.
Oh man.
Let's see a couple other things on here. Yeah, it connects to an app. So you've got an app that you team up with it where you can adjust settings, integrated LED display, 2 different power levels, speedometer, battery levels. It's fully charged in 3.5 hours just on a regular outlet. So a regular 110 outlet. So you don't need like a special outlet for it or anything. And 12 miles, 15 miles an hour. 7 seconds from 0 to 15. I love that big. Like, you got to be really worried about that. Yeah, honestly, this thing looks kind of fun to just tool around with. I'd tool around just to go meet up with somebody for lunch or a drink or something like that. Just cruising around on this thing.
Right. But then the thing is, I'm guessing you have to ride this on a bike lane. You probably can't ride this on a sidewalk.
Oh. No, probably not. You probably would have to be in the bike lane. Yeah, for that. I'm sure that depends on the regulations anywhere. But yeah, 15 miles an hour is too fast for a sidewalk.
That's really cool. You're driving around on a suitcase.
It's just a suitcase. I know. At first, I thought maybe they actually had some suitcase capabilities in there, but I don't think they do. It just
that would have been cool, right?
Yeah,
that would have been pretty practical.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the storage. I don't think you have much storage in that thing. I think most of that's just the battery. You're riding on a big battery, essentially. But
it just seems like something someone would steal.
But 100%. That'll be stolen so fast. That is very true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how the locking system works on there. I guess maybe if it's attached to your phone, you wouldn't be able to turn it on, but it'd still get stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute
So,
though. I mean, I can see this like we just recently toured Stanford campus up in Northern Cal, and like talk about a big, beautiful campus, but like it is hard to get from one end to the other. So having something like this where you're just traveling within campus, I think is sort of genius.
oh
Would
yeah.
totally do that. Mhm.
Yeah, that would work really well for something like that. You also need it, I would guess it needs to be pretty flat. I'm not sure how this thing handles hills. That would be one thing here where I am. I'm on a hill, so maybe that wouldn't be so good. I'd be pushing this thing up. So perhaps that may not be the best thing for me where I'm at. But
Yeah.
I haven't tried it out though. Maybe this thing's just a beast. It can fly up hills.
Maybe that's why you're supposed to go to a Honda dealership. They're gonna have you tested there.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah.
will call around and see if anybody here is gonna have that. I'm kind of gonna guess nobody here in Portland is gonna stock this thing because it wouldn't be super useful. But maybe somebody will.
I think somebody would, right? I do think Portland's got a great outdoor scene. So
Yeah,
like,
I think you would need. It's also really wet, so I don't know how this thing handles the rain. But that would make for a fun video.
yeah,
So
Joshua, you gonna get one? Do you? Cross-X Spider. Is this something that you would be able to utilize in your neighborhood? As you see, Cross-X Spider joining us on YouTube Live right now. I think
nice.
this is kind of fun and gimmicky. I think the price point is definitely reachable for a lot of people. And I feel like because it's from Honda, people are going to feel comfortable with their warranty and stuff. So I could see people picking this up for the holidays. If coming around November, I can see a lot of people having this on their techie gift idea list. It's probably going to be those things like the PlayStation or something you're not going to be able to get your hands on because it's like
That's the thing. I don't know how many of these are actually making, and how much of it is just kind of a marketing gimmick. A few places will have it, but I can't imagine they're mass producing these.
Mhm.
So it may be a hard thing to get your hands on, but we'll have to see. I will try to get a test ride on this thing though.
You should. And then you know what? Like I could totally see like if my husband got his hand on one of these things, he would totally start to make like a trailer for it or something. He would start to make attachments and 3D print all sorts of interesting things for this thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, add a trailer on, some saddlebags or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I think would be amazing, here in Southern California, we have a lot of beaches, but sometimes you have to park pretty far to get to your beach. Imagine if you could build a trailer and it could like haul your chairs and your beach umbrella. Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
You're
Yeah, if they could
thinking,
make one
Greg,
with like a little more robust, that'd be a good one for camping too. Because if you're
right? Like your
walking a little
tent
ways,
and
I
all
hate
your
hauling
gear.
my gear around. So
Oh my
I'd be down with
goodness.
that.
And you could actually, Greg, this way you could actually, what if they could convert this so you could actually plug your device into it, Greg? Then like it would be like a moving portable battery thingamajigger.
Brings it all back together.
And
It's the perfect
yeah.
thing for traveling through the airport. Just have
Okay,
it fit in the
Honda, you could
carry-on
apply it.
bag, Yeah,
Yeah.
this all ties. Honda needs to get a hold of us, is what the deal
Yeah,
is.
Honda, have your people call our people. And
Yep.
we can like I feel like we're just on we can make this thing so much cooler.
Yeah. Yep. Hit us up and we'll get the Loop branded Moto Compactos and
There you go. There you go. Now you're talking, Greg.
there it is. There it is.
Okay. We're gonna have to package this. Yeah, we're gonna send a Honda because I'm guessing I'm guessing you're watching. And if you're watching, then you know where to reach us. But if not, check us out on social. And of course, for those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing the show with your friends and whatnot. Big thank you to Cross-X Fighter. He's been sharing our show consistently, and we so appreciate it, Greg. And I'm so glad that we're back in the groove of things. I know we're gonna be back next week, right, Greg?
Everything's on track. Yeah, next
Yeah.
week for sure. So and like when he said, feel free to get a hold of us anytime on social media. And if you see something cool out there, some cool tech products or something like that you're interested in, please send it my way. Let me see it. I would love to. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Take care. We'll see you very, very soon.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.